talking about myself and other people who are living with HIV, our quality of life. What does it mean as a person who's living with HIV, potentially having comorbidities, and how are we able to make sure that our lives don't change because I have now increased hypertension at the same time living with HIV, the number of medication that I'm taking, for example, that's also important. So the quality of life is very important, but to kind of have a fair and a platform that's equal for everybody to be able to communicate with our healthcare providers, so that the information that we are getting from our providers is as clear as possible. I hope I'm not going to get into trouble for this, but for health professionals, don't treat us like idiots. Treat your patients, give people a benefit of the doubt that they will understand what you're saying. And to us as patients, learn to ask questions. When you have all these group discussions and you're talking to people about, but why didn't you ask? The common answer is that I was scared to ask. So already that person is thinking about the question. They want to know more about whatever that is being said to them, but they're scared to ask. So let's create that environment where both sides are able to express themselves. It's been more than 20 years of living with HIV. And obviously, it's not just with HIV. I'm also getting old. So I need to think differently about how I manage my health. And I'm sure there's a whole lot of us, if not millions of us, who are experiencing the same thing or having conversations with doctors where they bring up hypertension, they'll bring up other comorbidities. I call it beyond HIV, by the way, because you need to think about managing other things that are not related to HIV. They are there, you've got HIV, but you're still managing, either you're diabetic or you've got hypertension. So that's important, and you can't do it without your health provider. Your healthcare provider play a significant role in how we plan for the future. So I teach stigma and discrimination mitigation at one of the local universities here. And most people who attend the classes either are working with people living with HIV or they are living with HIV. And one of the common things that you get to hear is people who have to hide their medication because they fear stigma. And, they fear stigma from their families. I think we need to get to a point where anybody is able to take their medication openly and freely. And I must confess, I was one of those people who were clueless about. But the more I started engaging locally and doing my own research, I realized that it's actually a very important topic to discuss. When you understand U equals U, it's easy to have certain conversations, sexual conversations, reproductive conversations, prevention conversations, all those conversations suddenly, they become easier. And I'm speaking from experience. I've tried it with a few people around me. So I guess my point is this. When you understand U equals U, it's better for for decision-making processes. So my message would be people should be open-minded, read a little bit, listen a little bit around U equals U. You might end up becoming like me and advocate for it.